Bu Yunseal's sword tip points towards where Peng Yu is standing. Peng Yu clutches himself but stubbornly says, even ordinary demonic sect members put on a show. Bu Yunseal smiles contentedly while holding his sword. The move is effective, but doesn't seem to cause much damage. That's to be expected. A body trained for so many years is naturally very sturdy. Bu Yunseal's face turns grim, but I've figured out how to break it. The words her grandfather said were deeply etched in her mind. Strike after the opponent, control them, just be slightly faster than the enemy, if even by half a beat, and that is what is truly fast. A gust of wind blows, making Bu Yunseal's hair fly. He holds his sword in front of him. I must take advantage of the attraction art itself, unleashing swordplay even faster than the Overlord's blade. Peng Yu rushes forward with his sword, but Bu Yunseal still stands there calmly. The sword in Bu Yunseal's hand shakes non-stop, unable to resist the pull. Bai Yu flies up high, heading straight towards Bu Yunseal. He slowly and deliberately points the tip of his sword straight toward Peng Yu and places his swordsmanship accordingly. Then, with just a slight change of direction, as quick as lightning, Bu Yunseal changed the direction of her attack. In the blink of an eye, Bu Yunseal's sword was pointed straight at Peng Yu's eyes, much to his astonishment. Peng Yu reacted quickly, losing only a few strands of hair. He grunted. Then quickly retreated, creating distance between them both. What was that just now? Could he be planning to use the devouring void art? Bai Yu's face darkened, his eyes wide. Impossible. The devouring void art of the five-lake severing gate blade is so powerful it can suck in even distant boulders. Even a grand master swordsman would find it difficult to cleverly utilize that power. Bai Yu cursed inwardly. How could a brat like him do it? He charged forward quickly. Let's go. Bu Yunseal adopted a defensive stance, calmly looking up at Peng Yu. Then her gaze turned cold. It's useless. The stronger you attack, the faster the devouring void art will make my sword. Bu Yunseal charged forward, launching a series of attacks on Peng Yu. Peng Yu managed to block only one blow, then was quickly injured in the waist by Bu Yunseal. Peng Yu turned back, shouting in an unconvinced voice, how long do you think that trick can last? Peng Yu slashed down at Bu Yunseal, but he quickly leaned away to dodge it. Bu Yunseal glanced over, a little surprised. The devouring void art disappeared. Bai Yu, at this point, charged forward fiercely like a hunting beast. Dealing with you doesn't require the devouring void art. Peng Yu gripped the hilt of his sword tightly in his hand, charging towards Bu Yunseal to meet the attack. Peng Yu raised his sword high, a murderous aura gleaming in his eyes. Bu Yunseal, without any fear, lowered his eyes slightly. I've been waiting for this moment. Bu Yunseal stood still, beginning to channel the flower dance sword first style. Then he looked straight ahead, his eyes dark, mystic profound sword technique. Bu Yunseal stood still before Peng Yu's attack. He passed right by Bu Yunseal, as if he were invisible. When Peng Yu came to a complete stop, it created a very strong gust of wind. Bu Yunseal stood there, his body now covered in a series of injuries. In contrast to him, Peng Yu's body had absolutely no injuries. It seemed like he had one, but not at this moment. A slash appeared on Peng Yu's shoulder. Those slashes appeared more and more on Peng Yu's body, causing him to spit out blood. Peng Yu could no longer support his body at this point, quickly kneeling down. Bai Yu collapsed, hugging his knees. Could it be? Bu Yunseal stood proudly. Yes. He glanced at where Peng Yu was sitting, his voice cold. It's the flower dance sword first style, mystic profound sword technique, he thought to himself, feeling impressed. That was almost dangerous. Bu Yunseal gripped the sword tightly in his hand. To turn a deadly defensive sword form into an attack, he accepted all the remaining sword moves being directed at himself. Bai Yu tried to straighten up, his voice somewhat admiring. I didn't expect you to use mystic profound sword technique in that way. I never would have thought of it. Bu Yunseal didn't respond, turning to leave. What, are you just going to leave? Bu Yunseal heard this and turned around. You have nothing to do with my grudges. Peng Yu was stunned to hear that. Peng Yu smiled wryly and said to Bu Yunseal, I didn't expect there to be someone like you among the demonic clans. How interesting. Bai Yu said straightforwardly to Bu Yunseal, don't let us meet again. Bu Yunseal looked at him without bothering to say anything, then turned and left decisively. Peng Yu leaned on his sword, watching Bu Yunseal's departing back. When he saw Bu Yunseal go far away, Peng Yu immediately fell backward. Just as Peng Yu closed his eyes to collect himself, someone walked up behind him. Bai Yu immediately noticed, opening his eyes and saying, have you come to kill an infiltrator like me? The demon slayer held his sword in his hand, his voice cold. Peng Yu of Hebei Peng family, it's truly a pity compared to someone from the orthodox path. Bai Yu closed his eyes and smiled wryly. So, you knew from the beginning. The demon corpse, hearing Peng Yu say that, turned cold. You underestimate the demon palace too much. Peng Yu raised his sword high. Farewell. In the blink of an eye, only a sea of blood remained. Just like that, the sky turned pitch black, the mountain in front stood tall and majestic. The wind incessantly blew through the canopy of trees. Someone was running frantically along the dirt path. That person stopped to catch their breath, panting. This person's hand was injured, they were clutching an arrow in their palm. Then forcefully pulled it out and threw it to the ground. The blood on this person's hand flowed ceaselessly. This person leaned against the base of the tree, breathing heavily with exhaustion. This person hugged their hand. Suddenly, someone walked up in front of that girl. Bad luck, Seo Jinha. Seo Jinha stared at the person in front of her, her eyes filled with murderous intent. The person stepped forward, walking towards Seo Jinha while laughing. You've been hit by the hidden weapons poison sex poison from Blood City, and you still plan to run. Anyway, without the antidote, you're as good as dead. Seo Jinha painfully gritted her teeth. Damn it, I didn't expect a group to use hidden weapons and poison techniques so systematically. Seo Jinha looked at the crowd of people in front of her. Indeed, there's a limit to being alone. The leader on the other side stepped forward. Are you planning to fight me with your left hand? The person laughed and mocked Seo Jinha relentless. No matter how talented you are, someone who is used to using their right hand can't suddenly use a sword with their left hand proficiently. She smiled in a dangerous way. Just give up. With that, she ordered her followers to charge and attack Seo Jinha. One of the people in front launched their hidden weapons towards Seo Jinha. Seo Jinha tried to grab her sword and deflect the hidden weapons. But unfortunately, one hidden weapon pierced straight into Seo Jinha's arm, causing her to wince in pain. Seo Jinha looked down at her arm, panting, damn it, I've been hit by a poison needle again, if I don't drink the antidote in another moment. The group of people saw that Seo Jinha had fallen into a weak position, and they all charged at once. Seo Jinha closed her eyes, bracing herself. This is it. But then Seo Jinha opened her eyes in surprise. One of those people fell down, and the others panicked, asking each other, who was that, who just attacked? Bu Yunseal rushed from behind towards the group of people. She now fearfully turned to face behind her. Bu Yunseal stared straight at her with a dark expression. Now Bu Yunseal held the sword tightly in her hand, her eyes sharp and cold. In the blink of an eye, he rushed forward at lightning speed, taking down everyone around him without giving anyone a chance to retaliate. Seo Jinha, standing leaning against a tree nearby, widened her eyes in surprise and couldn't say a word at the scene that had just happened. At this moment, all the enemy soldiers had fallen, and Bu Yunseal was standing in the middle. Holding in his hand was a sword stained red with the blood of his enemies, his eyes somewhat soulless as he looked at Seo Jinha. In Seo Jinha's eyes at this moment was true panic. When she saw Bu Yunseal's footsteps approaching, she quickly clarified, wait, I don't have any malicious intent towards you. But unexpectedly, he just sat down next to a nearby enemy, making Seo Jinha dumbfounded. After searching for a while, he quickly took out a vial of medicine, thinking, this is the antidote, now it will be easier to deal with the Blood City prison. Feeling that he had gotten what he needed, Bu Yunseal turned to leave, but suddenly Seo Jinha called out, wait, wait. He glanced back and replied, what is it? Seo Jinha panted heavily, struggling to speak, I've been poisoned by the Blood City prison. In less than half an hour, it will spread throughout my entire body. Hearing that, Bu Yunseal didn't budge, and replied casually, it seems you've misunderstood, I came here to kill all of you, including you, you're just someone I don't need to kill myself, so I left you. At this moment, Seo Jinha lowered her face and said, that's right, if I'm left alone, I'll die anyway, I'm just an opponent you have to kill. Here, she suddenly exclaimed excitedly, so how about this, if you give me the antidote, I'll stand on your side. The words immediately stunned Bu Yunseal. But then he quickly changed his attitude, his face full of disgust, why should I do that? Seeing the lifeline in front of her, Seo Jinha immediately explained, there are only about 20 people left alive now, and besides you and me, everyone has formed their own factions. Then she continued to prove, no matter how strong you are, you can't fight them alone, if you cooperate with me, you understand their martial arts and characteristics, it will definitely be beneficial. After that, Seo Jinha emphasized with pleading eyes, most importantly, if you save my life, I will absolutely not betray you. Seeing her say that, Bu Yunseal pondered, from what I've seen so far, even though you're arrogant and independent, you don't seem like a traitor or a liar. He asked with probing eyes, what's the condition? At this moment, Seo Jinha's tears and sweat streamed down her face as she said, until it's just you and me left, we'll deal with the enemies together and not attack each other. Bu Yunseal immediately fell silent, not responding right away. This made Seo Jinha worried and afraid to breathe loudly, waiting for his reply. Bu Yunseal looked at the vial of antidote in his hand. Without saying a word, he quickly threw it to Seo Jinha, startling her. Catching the vial of antidote, she immediately said, thank you. Then, gritting her teeth and enduring the pain, she poured the medicine onto the wound on her arm. Suddenly, a sound came out, drawing both of their attention. Bu Yunseal's eyes are full of confusion. Does this sound mean there is a new restricted area? Then he turned to Seo Jinha and said, I have to leave here immediately. Seeing Bu Yunseal's strange expression, he asked, why, but it seems like this place is not limited. Bu Yunseal quickly explained, think about it, most of the areas have been blocked, but there is a new restricted area, which means. Before the words could finish, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed. They laughed excitedly, looking at the two of them. Following closely was the silver-haired one with hidden weapons in hand, and another with a white band around his head, clutching a leather whip tightly. Along with them were two others, one of whom also wielded an old whip. They formed a circle, surrounding the two. Observing the situation, Bu Yunseal grew anxious. The survivors were likely to come here. Were they too late? Among them was one with his hair tied back with a red string, a strange smile playing on the corner of his lips. His expression was frighteningly calm, his vacant eyes smiling meaningfully. Catching sight of that expression, Bu Yunseal realized that this one was different from the rest. Just then, one with his hair tied short at the back of his neck drew his sword and spoke, what's this? Are you all waiting to see who goes first? If so, we should just kill these two here and be done with it. Looking at the two, the silver-haired one began to reveal his knowledge. On one side is Bu Yunseal, who has learned the beast way of the Nangya sect. He then spoke of Bu Yunseal's strengths, and on the other side is Seo Jinha, who not only has formidable swordsmanship but has also investigated all the cultivators. They can't be underestimated. It turns out these two have joined forces. Hearing him say that, the two quickly realized, so they really know all about us and Seo Jinha. As if telepathically, the two looked at each other. Suddenly, Seo Jinha rolled up his sleeve, revealing the injury from earlier, subtly signaling to Bu Yunseal. Seeing that action, Bu Yunseal understood, that bottle was the powdered antidote from earlier, so that's it. At that moment, Seo Jinha forcefully tossed the antidote bottle and shouted, Bu Yunseal, I'll release the descent wisdom powder. If so, we can win. In this moment of heavy smoke, the two quickly took the opportunity to flee, and the others realized something was going on. After that, they all panicked and covered their noses. Is that the descent wisdom poison of the blood prison realm? Damn it. In this moment, the two fully utilized their strength to run away from here. Suddenly, one of them realized something unusual. Wait. Then, he shouted, this isn't descent wisdom powder. Hearing that, the group immediately reacted. It's not poison, they dare deceive us, capture them. At this moment, Bu Yunseal also guessed that they had discovered the trick and sneered, this kind of powder is only used to create a smokescreen, very suitable to deceive the opponent's eyes. But returning to the main issue, while running, he thought of a way. This wide open space is disadvantageous for us, we must go to the Rocky Mountains with many small caves. While running, Seo Jinha conveniently picked up one of their swords and said, you think the same as me, don't you? We must quickly find a cave that benefits us. Bu Yunseal added, I know a place. Then he began to describe its shape, a cave with a narrow entrance and a long tunnel. Hearing that, Seo Jinha was surprised. He even knows this. It's already unbelievable that he learned the beast way. While running behind him, Seo Jinha wondered, who is this guy anyway? At that time, the group of people chased after them from behind. Both of them immediately accelerated and ran towards the designated direction. Right in front of them was the destination. Seo Jinha was delighted, we're here. Suddenly, a faint mist appeared, causing both of them to stop immediately and become alert. Seo Jinha wondered, why is there fog like this? Bu Yunseal added, something's not right. Finishing his sentence, a series of individuals, wearing cloaks and masks appeared. Seeing this, Seo Jinha immediately realized, Soul Reapers, is this a restricted area? Bu Yunseal replied, they must be observing the situation. His eyes, full of vigilance, glanced over them and said, they deliberately placed the restricted area here to prevent you and me from running away. Hearing this, Seo Jinha cursed, damn it, what do we do? Bu Yunseal then replied, as long as we don't cross the boundary, the Soul Reapers won't attack. Having arrived here, Bu Yunseal decided, if we have to fight anyway, fighting right here wouldn't be so bad. Then he continued, having our backs against the restricted area is no different than standing in a cave with a blocked exit. Seeing this, Seo Jinha understood and drew his sword, guess that's how it has to be. Immediately, the two stood in a battle-ready stance. At this moment, they also chased after them, there's no escape route anymore. They began to approach the two. Everyone smiled with enjoyment and excitement. Seo Jinha and Bu Yunseal stood solemnly in defensive stances. The Soul Reapers stood there motionless. In this moment, one of them, unable to contain the excitement surging within, laughed sinisterly. "This is getting really troublesome, let's not draw it out any longer." Then his words came out as a command, "Let's fight a decisive battle now." Everyone charged forward immediately. They rushed straight at the two of them. One guy jumped up, raised his sword high, and aimed it straight at Seo Jinha. The others also charged in one after another. Up above, someone was watching from the shadows. Ryan Young rubbed his chin and commented. This might be the final battle to determine the 10 war demons. Hidden weapons flew in a flurry. Yunseal quickly dodged and weaved. He rushed to counterattack. The sword in his hand was swung, aimed at the enemy. A fierce melee broke out, blood splattering everywhere with the movements. The men in black were slashing and stabbing at each other chaotically. Jinha blasted through the enemies, his eyes never even blinked. He stopped frowning with annoyance. Then gritted his teeth as he had to take a sword strike from above, forcing Jinha to retreat a long way. Yunseal's back touched Jinha's back. They were forced to support each other. The remaining men in black surrounded them both, each with a weapon ready. By then, their blades were already stained with blood. Chanha lowered his sword, the tip pointing towards the ground. A question was then asked, "Will I die here? I've given everything, I have no regrets." These words confused Yunseal. No regrets. The image of Janyang appeared in Yunseal's mind. His satisfied smile and death echoed. He froze, unconsciously muttering in his head, "I cannot die in this place." Just as he thought that, the men in black rushed at him, intending to attack. The sword in Yunseal's hand was gripped tightly. He swung a blow at the two men rushing towards him. In an instant, they were wide-eyed as their bodies gushed with blood. Yunseal's figure flashed past the men attacking him. He leapt up high, the sword in his hand swiftly swung, blood from those men then appeared. They cursed loudly, "That bastard, what kind of swordsmanship is that?" They decided to change targets, all heading towards Yunseal to attack. "Kill him first." The teachings echoed in his head, "Just act on your feelings and instincts." The voice of that man also appeared, "Haven't you already mastered my old man's swordsmanship?" Yunseal's eyes turned bloodshot. Several lightning-fast slashes were unleashed. In a flash, the attackers were all eliminated. This scene made Ryan Young and the person behind him so shocked that they couldn't blink. The attackers all collapsed around him. Yunseal mused as he watched a fist being swung. "Sa Wu's practical swordsmanship, if it's like this." His eyes widened. The sword controlled by Yunseal easily blocked the opponent's attack. Yunseal cried out in pain as he felt the difference in strength. The other guy grinned, laughed arrogantly, "Got you." At that moment, a light flashed, making Yunseal's eyes widen in surprise. The other guy's fist collided with his sword. And then Yunseal's whole body was blown backward, and the sword was shattered into pieces. Yunseal flew far away. Hakyung stood in shock watching Yunseal. Another man in black sneered, "Too bad, but he was destined to die anyway." He cried out in alarm, "No, get up, Yunseal, that thing." Yunseal, on this side, with a bloodied face, reached out to touch the cut on his face. Someone's voice echoed, "This is a restricted area." Yunseal's eyes widened, vacant. The figure of a demon slayer appeared before Yunseal. A powerful slash swept across. In Yunseal's eyes, the image of a hand reaching out was reflected.